Welcome to a special episode of Coffee with Convery. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to a remarkable individual who's making waves both on and off the ice. Meet Carson Gates, a dedicated student at Chatham University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who's not just chasing pucks as the goalie on the men's hockey team, but also pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in journalism. Carson holds the role of editor-in-chief at the Communiqué, where he has been shaping narratives and leading the way in the field of journalism. But that's not all. Carson is also a valued contributor to Trainwreck Sports, and more specifically, the Buffalo Sabres. As a Sabres contributor, he has been actively involved in creating, editing, and sharing content that brings the spirit of Buffalo Sabres to life for fans and followers. Additionally, Carson is a proud member of the Crossing Swords podcast, where he shares his insight stories and analysis about all things Buffalo Sabres. Carson Gates is more than just a talented content creator. He's also a college hockey player who has publicly shared his story and journey of self-discovery and identity in response to the NHL players' refusal to wear pride jerseys. Carson is a living testament to the power of breaking barriers, inspiring change, and proving that being true to yourself is always worth it. Carson, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. What an introduction. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I do my research. I make sure we get it all out there for you. But we'll dig in more so you can tell your story as we get going here. But maybe just a few rapid fire questions for the audience.
That sounds awesome. Let's get into
Okay.
it.
All right. What are your pronouns?
I use he, him pronouns.
He, him. Superpower. What's that?
Honestly, right now, I think time management. There's a lot going on that you talked about, and I think that's what's keeping me going at the moment.
Okay. I agree. That's it. You must really have to tackle that one. Favorite smell?
Fresh laundry.
Fresh laundry. All right. Best compliment you've ever received?
I think it's hard to narrow it down, but I think someone just saying they're proud of the person I've become, that one always feels really good to me.
That's really awesome. Okay, I know you're a healthy athlete doing a bunch of stuff, but do you have a guilty pleasure or go-to snack?
I go through so many phases with a go-to snack. Right now, it's really weird. It's just a big spoonful of peanut butter, and that's what it is right now for the week. So we'll see what next week brings. But right now, I'm really dialed in on that.
And no dipping it into chocolate chips or anything, just straight up.
Straight peanut butter, and then I'm stuck with that in my mouth for the next hour. But it's worth it in the end.
I love that. Favorite subject in school?
I always loved history.
History, nice. We all start somewhere, and I know you're still venturing through your career and early in that stage, but what was your very first job that you ever did?
I used to work at a golf course. I was a bag boy for a couple of years. I'd clean carts, do whatever, pick the range, and yeah, I did that. And I worked in a cookie shop for forever after that. So I'm glad I'm in the media world now.
Nice, nice. But good customer service skills in building, right?
Yeah, good. Learned a lot of good traits.
That's right. That's right. If you had to pick just one word, how would you describe yourself?
Persevering.
Persevering. Awesome. All right. As you said, I gave you that great introduction, but now I really want you to tell us all about you. Could you take a few minutes and maybe share your overall journey with the listeners today?
Yeah, so I think a lot of my life centers around the game of hockey. I started skating when I was 3. My dad played his whole life. I kind of want to be like him growing up. That's how I became a goalie as well. He was a goalie. So I played hockey growing up, like youth organizations, like from house to travel. Eventually landed playing junior hockey. I lived in New Hampshire for 2 years after graduating high school in 2018. And then I played my age out year of junior hockey in Maryland. From that point on, I didn't have any college offers. So I was looking at, Division III schools who had the programs I wanted. And I loved the campus because that was my first priority at the time. Because I kind of fell out of love with the game a little bit just based on how everything went the past couple of years. But I landed at Chatham because I love the school. We're in downtown Pittsburgh. It's a great area. And I was able to walk onto the team. I was the first walk-on in our program's history. And that was huge for me. And, I've been working since then to, get to where I am now. But yeah, it's been a grind on that front. But yeah, my first year at Chatham too, I joined our school's newspaper. Last year I became the editor-in-chief of the paper, and we've grown a ton. I'm super proud of our staff there. And then my first year as well, naturally, I started writing for Trainwreck Sports, initially doing just like game recaps, and that's progressed into doing a daily video series, podcast, video editing, you name it. I'll try to keep the lights on somehow, some way. But right now it's just a lot going on, but it's all stuff I love doing, and I've got a great support system of family and friends, keep me dialed in as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for that. Pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in journalism at Chatham, what motivated you to study journalism, and how do you see it intersecting with your love for hockey and sports?
Well, initially, journalism was the last thing I wanted to do at college. I just wanted a basic communications degree, and my advisor at the time thought otherwise, put me in journalism. And I was like, oh, I don't want that at all. But I kept my original class schedule, and the name of our newspaper is the Communiqué, and I was originally in a class called Communiqué in the newsroom. I just thought that was like a French communication class at the time. I was like, oh, I'll take it. That could be fun. Turns out it's about journalism. I go to one class and I was hooked. Changed my major back, and the rest is history. And I just loved it because it's been a way to find a new love for hockey again, based on things might not going my way initially and whatnot. And I was able to find that love for the game off the ice, and now I love the game on the ice again. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, that's an awesome intersect. I think even as you go through careers and other opportunities to move, I mean, those transferable skills are going to just be amazing for you just to tackle whatever's in front of you.
Yeah.
Many hats though, right? That you're wearing. What could you tell us a little bit more about the roles and responsibilities you play for these different positions?
Yeah, so for editor-in-chief of the Communiqué, right now my goal is to just keep the ship moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Our staff's doubled in size since I joined the staff 2 years ago, and that makes me super happy. And it's kind of evolved my position as well. Because last year I did some writing just to plug holes here and there, but right now we have such a dedicated, incredible staff that I don't need to do that anymore. And we have so much content that I can really focus on behind the scenes stuff, putting people in the right positions from the right stories, helping them progress things along. I do all of our layout for, well, not all of it. I help do the majority of the layout for our print editions, where we should do bi-weekly. And just kind of a little bit of everything here and there just to keep the ship moving. On that front, we have like a weekly pitch meeting. I'll run us through that. For hockey, goalie, I'm my junior year here, so keeping that going. Our season started last week, which is really exciting. And then for Trainwreck, right now, myself and my boss, he kind of runs all of Trainwreck. We do all of our Sabres coverage for the most part. So I've taken a big step this year. I do most of our Twitter stuff during games. I cut up clips, and then I'll do a weekly or a daily. I call it Sabres in 60, where I just do a quick Sabres video, kind of discussing what's going on in the day. And then if I have time to blog for Trainwreck, I'll put a blog out about like personal stuff for the Sabres. And that's kind of a lot what I do there. There's some video editing on some projects that we need, but I mean, that's a lot, but that's kind of all my focus is at right now.
Yeah, definitely. And the audience here, as I told you, a lot of 15 to 35-year-olds listening, lots of sports fanatics, as well as people playing sports in school. If they want to find you, where can they find you to follow your blogs and things?
Yeah, so Twitter or X, and my Instagram is the same handle. It's at Gatesy35, GATESY35. That's where you can find most of my stuff. I'll plug my articles, my videos. I'll retweet all of those on my Twitter. Same thing on my Instagram. I'll plug stuff there. I'll do most of my Communiqué stuff on my Instagram as well. So if you want to follow along with what we're doing, because we have a really talented staff. We do a lot of video stuff. I'll do like man on the street style things on campus. It's a really good time, and I love if people support it, likes, comments, whatever.
That's super cool. Thank you so much for plugging it and sharing it, because I think you're gonna hopefully through this you'll get a number of different followers and maybe some reach outs.
Awesome.
So, I read the article, and I know you authored it for Trainwreck Sports. I am queer and I belong in hockey. Super powerful piece. Really hit me personally. Can you share what inspired you to write this article and what message you hope it conveys?
Yeah, so I decided to write this probably beginning of April of 2023, kind of when everything was going on with NHL Pride Nights. And I think there were 7 players that decided not to wear jerseys, and there's just a big discourse online about that. And at that point, I was only out to a small handful of people, maybe like 4 or 5 people that knew. And it was like one or 2 teammates, and then a couple other people in my life. And it was something that I didn't really think I didn't really want to talk about, but I was at the point where I was comfortable with writing that piece. And actually the first thing I had to do is I had to call my parents and come out to them, because I didn't come out to them yet. And I was thankful enough that I knew I'd be able to come out to them, because they're so supportive. and everyone around me is so supportive, and my teammates, friends, family. Like, I wouldn't have been able to write that article without that support. So I'm very thankful that I had that from every aspect of my life. But yeah, I decided to write that, and I thought I could use my voice as someone who's still in the game and has gone through so much of, the homophobia through youth hockey, that can talk about those experiences and share them with people who might not know about it, and why these nights are important for so many people. And inclusivity is such a big part of hockey, and why we need to continue to push that going forward.
Yeah, huge. Wow, what a backstory to that article. And thank you for sharing that. I read it. I read it multiple times, and I just thought this is fantastic. And keep doing what you're doing, because someone listening here today might be struggling with this even in or out of sports. And to
Mhm.
hear your approach to it, and of course it's a personal journey, as we both know.
Mhm.
But it's something that's, I think, really powerful when you talk about it. So thank you so much. Um, you also talked about a big portion of coming out process and being part of the LGBTQ plus community, allyship.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more of the importance of allyship to you overall, and then I guess even as far as the hockey community?
Allyship is, I would say, the biggest reason I was able to come out. If I didn't have that support, especially like from my teammates, I wouldn't have done it whatsoever. Like, but I knew they loved me for who I was. And I mean, a lot of them kind of had an idea already about it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, a lot of them had an idea already about that, and they were just so unbelievably supportive. And all of the negative comments I've gotten since coming out of him from people I don't know, been anonymous, stuff online, and
Yeah.
that's made it easier. It's like the people that I actually care about and the people that know me love and support me no matter what. And any negative stuff I've gotten, so people I don't care about. And that's been a big growth for me, is like not putting too much into what they think, and going from there. And but yeah, allyship is huge. And so much came from that article as well. I was able to go on the Today Show here in the States, a
Amazing.
morning show, go on that. And I wasn't sure if I want to do it initially. And my teammates pushed me to do it. They're like, you should do this. You have our support. Go from there. And that meant the world to me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it's, what is it? The hater's gonna hate, right?
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
exactly.
And it's so smart and so powerful when you don't listen to that and let that rule who you or what you're thinking. So good for you. I agree. Like the betterness of the goodness of what you're doing is what really matters.
Mhm.
And I think I applaud you. It's amazing. Thank you
Thank you.
for
And
that.
I realized I've just been preaching inclusivity in hockey, and if that makes me the bad guy,
Yeah.
like I I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's all I'm really pushing for, is to get more people involved in the game, and making people feel comfortable. That's all I want. All really anyone wants is to continue to grow the game that we all love.
100%. And I think also, one of the things I looked at in your discussion about inclusivity is
Mhm.
the whole role of professional sports teams. And, there's been a lot of activity over the years and most recently with different sports teams, but what is your thought about their responsibility as a sports team, which includes people, to promote
Yeah.
diversity and inclusion?
From my experiences growing up through hockey, hockey just has such, a deep rooted, like, homophobia is a part of the game. Like, the F slurs used by players and coaches, from mites to midgets, unfortunately. And you
Yeah.
know, there's a great quote. I forget the player's name, but he was asked, why are there no out NHL players currently, and he said they all quit when they were 14 or 15. And that is
Wow.
unfortunately the case, where you just don't, if you're like, I wasn't, out to myself at that point. It didn't like click for me till my freshman year of college. But if that was something I knew earlier in life, I don't know if I'm still involved with hockey, just with how the game is in the locker room growing up and on the ice, where that's used so frequently, and you would feel like an outsider. Hockey's a hard enough game to get through as is when things are going right, let alone when you're on the outside looking in. So NHL clubs and professional teams letting, youth know that they're welcome in the game, that everyone's welcome in this game, means so much. And it's just for one night that, players have a jersey on or have tape on their sticks for warm-ups, which is 15
Yeah.
minutes before, cameras are even rolling for the game. It literally means so much to the community. And I hate that this has been a discussion recently that um where it's at, but I'm hoping, things get better and the NHL, move back on their pride tape ban, and hopefully we continue to move forward.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that's Great insights and thoughts, sir. Thanks for sharing that. Um, I often talk to, as I was telling you earlier, I've coached and mentored a bunch of youth and students over the years through my professional job, and just my love for seeing young people succeed. And I often find that sometimes students don't necessarily know how to articulate the sports when it comes to sports to work and the transferable skills and the valuable life lessons you learn. And sometimes they sell themselves a bit short, in my opinion. That's one of my big coachings is to share those skills, because those are things that you can bring into the workplace, into life, into the community, volunteerism. What are some of the valuable life skills and lessons you've learned through sports?
I think it goes back to the one word that I used to describe myself as just perseverance. And um, I've wanted to quit hockey so many times throughout my journey. When things got really tough and nothing was going my way, it felt like, and I was on the outside looking in, the last goalie in the rotation and all that stuff. And I'm so glad I decided not to quit. That I kept going. I relied on, the people around me for support, and I was able to talk to them, and I just pushed through. And I'm very grateful that, I had the people around me to continue to push me and to have me get better. And that's what I love so much about sports. And then kind of transitioning into the media world now is,
Yeah,
in the media world, you start at the bottom. Unless you're a professional athlete and you already have that following, you start with really no followers at all. It's like your close friends and family, and it's a grind every single day to, you know, grow your audience, get better content, be better, a writer or on the mic, on video. And it's just, you're not going to notice changes day by day. But if you look back over the course of months, years, whatever, you're going to see how much better you got. And it's really hard not to, think, oh, why are things not working right now? Why am I not getting the support from a bigger community? But, you know, hopefully you keep pushing and keep working and find ways to be better. And hopefully things will work out. And I'm thankfully that's been my case so far. And my experiences through hockey and through work and now getting into media.
awesome. Looking forward, what are your goals and aspiration, I guess, in journalism and your overall involvement in the world of hockey?
Right now, everything I'm doing for Trainwreck is my love and my passion of being able to cover Sabres in the way I want to. I can do video stuff.
Awesome.
I can write if I want. I'll do some editing. So I'm hoping by the time I graduate, that could be a full-time gig. Um, we'll see. And if not, I do want to work in sports media in some capacity, and that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
And right now, I feel like I've been wearing so many hats, and I'm trying to be kind of master every skill available. So if a job opens up, I can take that, get my foot in the door somewhere, and hopefully progress that into something more down the road. But right now, I'm just trying
Absolutely.
to get all the the editing and all the stuff you need somewhere, be able to do really good at that, so I can hopefully progress that into something bigger down the line if I'm able to.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the exciting time for you, because you can start to just explore everything in every angle,
Yes.
figure out what you like, what you don't like, right? And
Hmm.
focus in on those things that you're good at, which is really cool. Wow, I could talk to you all day. I just think you're so inspiring, such a great
Thanks.
speaker, and you can just feel the positive energy on this conversation. I just wanted to ask you, with the audience in mind, and thinking of those
Yeah.
young, maybe 15 to 18-year-olds or people in school struggling to get through things, or maybe their first job or whatever, as a career seeker too. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to cover today?
I would say a lot of that is just, from my experiences is, finding at least one person in your life that you can go and talk to no matter what it's about, whether that's a family or a really good friend. Um, Something, it doesn't matter if they're going to be in your life forever. Hopefully they are. But I learned a great saying from a friend a couple years ago. You got friends for a reason, friends for a season, and friends for a lifetime. You find, that friend for a reason right now, and they can help you through whatever you're going through. And hopefully, you can continue to build that relationship with them for the rest of your life. But if not, you're able to help each other through some really tough times. That 15 to 18 range, you're trying to figure out so much about yourself, while also trying to plan your entire future, which is just a crazy concept on its own. And being able to have at least one person to talk to about that, and not just be in your head with it. And whether that, again, even therapy, I started therapy months ago now, and that was one of the best things I've ever done. Being able to talk to someone openly has been able to make it, being able to talk to my friends so much easier. I used to keep everything in, and I mean, I was able to write that article like 2 months after therapy. I would not have been able to
Really?
do it without that. And I know that's not an option for everyone. It's expensive, but if you do have the option to do it, I highly recommend it. Even if it's through your school, something like that. That helped me a ton. But yeah, being able to express how you feel to another person, I think has helped me being able to understand how I feel so much more, and being able to have that support's been awesome. So yeah, if you have that, great, take it and run with it and go from there.
Yeah, 100%. Some great insights and thoughts to leave the listeners with. And honestly, what a great gift it is to speak to you today and have you on the show. I really thank you so much. And again, it's been a pleasure. I think there's a lot here to unpack for the listeners. But again, Carson, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking to you today.
Awesome. So for our listeners, if you liked what you heard today, please share this podcast with your network or on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Also follow us, Coffee with Convery, on Instagram. This has been Coffee with Convery, and until next time, please stay well.